Miss Parsons, and today we're going to be learning about shapes. Before we can even start our lesson, we're going to watch a video. And what the video is going to help us do, it's going to start our brains to help them start thinking about what we're going to be learning. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
Harry Kindergarten Music exclusive. Check out this hip educational video, 2D Shapes I Know, on my website, harrykindergartenmusic.com. This music video for purchase covers all of these important educational topics. Here's a preview. Here are the 2D shapes that I know. Shapes, tall and short, skinny and wide. You can tell what shape you're looking at by counting all the sides. A square has 4 equal sides and 4 corners. A pizza box, some brownies, and a tabletop would be examples of a square, as you can plainly see. A soccer ball pattern, a honeycomb pattern, and a snowflake would be examples of a hexagon, as you can plainly see. Here are the 2D shapes that I know. Remember that.
Alrighty, that was a fun video to start us off with. So now, does anybody remember what a KWL chart is? We've done it before, but does anybody remember what a KWL chart is? Okay, can anybody tell me what the K means? Right, K means what do we know? What do we know about shapes, right? What does the W mean? What do we want to know? And the L? What we want to learn, right? So, what we learn about our lesson. So first off, can anybody tell me some things that we know about our shapes? Okay, we know that our shapes could be a square, correct? We know some could be a triangle, good. Okay, we know that our shape can be a circle, good. So we know some of our shapes, right? Is there anything that we want to know about our shapes? Good, that's a good question. Why do they all look different? And we're gonna figure that out through our lesson. So why do the shapes look different? L, on the L part of the KWO chart, we are going to finish at the end of the lesson once we know all that we know about our shapes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to pass out this bag. Now this is a bag of shapes. It has a few shapes in here that I'm going to want you to look at. So once you get your bag, the bag is for the whole table. So you're going to reach your hand in and pull out one shape. How many? One, right? So you'll pull out a shape, and what I want you to do is I want you to look at your shape, and I want you to see what are the characteristics of this shape, right? What is different about this shape than my friend's shape, right? I want you to be able to tell me. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to look at your shapes. Now I want you to remember, this is not a playtime. This is not a time for you to play with your shapes and throw them around and hit your friends with them, right? This is the time to look at your shapes and figure out what is so different about my shape than my friend's shape. At this time, they'll be having 5 minutes to look over those shapes. All right, now that our 5 minutes is up, right, can anybody tell me some things that they found about their shape? Okay, Jeremy, can you hold up your shape for us? right? For everybody, this is the shape that Jeremy picked out. This was the shape that he looked at for these whole 5 minutes. So Jeremy, can you tell me some things about this shape? Right. Jeremy said that they have 3 points. Right? I can see that there's 3 points on this shape. Can anybody tell me something different or have a different shape about their shape? All right, Natalie, good job. Natalie, right? Natalie has a different shape. Let me show y'all what shape Natalie is holding up. All right, Natalie is holding up this shape right here. Natalie, can you tell us something about this shape that is different than Jeremy's shape? Okay, yours has 4 points. Good job, Natalie. Right, so we know that there is a difference, right? And we saw that when we're doing our KWO chart. We noticed that the shapes are different. Now, can anybody show me one more shape? All right, Melody, can you show me your shape? All right, everybody, this is the shape that Melody is holding up. Melody, can you tell me something different about this shape than the other 2 shapes that we've looked at? Oh, Melody said that she doesn't see any points on her shape. Is she right? Right. Melody doesn't have any points on her shape. So her shape has 0 points. Right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that. So before we can do so, we need to learn some vocabulary. Right? We need to learn words that we can use when we're talking about our shapes. The first word that we're going to be talking about is called side. It is a what? Side. So let's go ahead and let's look at our vocabulary. A side is a straight outer boundary between 2, how many? 2 vertices of a 2-dimensional figure. Now, vertices is a word that we need to remember, okay? That's going to be our next vocabulary word. So, let's read it again. A side is a straight outer boundary between 2 vertices of a 2-dimensional figure. If we look at our shapes, we could see our sides, right? When we look at our shape, let's go ahead and see if we can find the sides. So we know that it is a straight outer boundary between 2 vertices, which earlier we called them points. It's going to be a different word now, but we called them points. So it's going to be a straight line from each point. So let's count how many sides this shape has. Ready? Count with me. Use your finger to follow the side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So how many sides does this shape have? 4, correct? Let's look at the next shape. How many sides does this shape have? Let's go ahead and count. Please use your finger and follow the line from each point or vertice that we have. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Right, this shape has 3, while this shape had 4. Now, Melody had this shape earlier, and we noticed it didn't have any points, right? So let's count how many sides this shape has. Can anybody tell me how many sides does this shape have? All right, well, let's follow our finger. Remember, it has to be a straight line. Oh, there's no straight lines on this circle. There's no straight lines on this shape, right? I can't put my finger and go straight across on any part of this shape. So I know how many sides does this shape have? 0, correct? So let's look at our next vocabulary word. It is vertices, and we had it in our side vocabulary, right? Vertices. It is a corner or point where 2, how many? 2 outer edges or sides meet. So if we look at our shapes, we called them points earlier, but now I want us to use the word vertice. What's the word? Vertice, correct, right? So if I look, right, earlier we counted points, now we're going to go ahead and count the vertices, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good job, right? And again, let's count this one right here. How many vertices do we have? Ready? 1, 2, and 3, correct? Now, can anybody tell me how many vertices does this shape have? Right, 0. It does not have any vertices. It had no points, as we called them. Right? No points. It has 0. Now, lastly, our last vocabulary word is two-dimensional shape. Every shape that you had in your bag of shapes is a two-dimensional shape. And we know this because the vocabulary word, the definition of two-dimensional shape is a flat figure. If you hold up your shape, we could see that it is flat, right? It is not thick. It doesn't have anything in between it. It is flat. Now, every time that I talk about a two-dimensional shape, I want you to remember that it is flat. What is it? Flat, correct? So I know when I pull out any of these shapes, it's going to be flat. So, now what we're going to do is we see shapes in our everyday lives, right? For some of us right now, we saw all these shapes and that's the first time we're seeing them. But we see shapes everywhere, right? For example, I'm going to show you some pictures of ways that we see shapes in our everyday lives. Now, there's something that we have to look at in order for us to tell us the time, right? I can't just guess the time. Right? What is that one thing that we look at that tells us what time it is? Correct, a clock, right? If we look at our clock that we have, is it a shape that you have in your bags? It is, right? This shape was a shape that we saw that had 0 sides and 0 vertices, not points, remember? And we knew that it's a two-dimensional shape because it's what? Flat. Good job. So I saw that this shape looks just like my clock. So now that you're thinking, we have shapes everywhere, right? There's another place that we find a shape. Now, this shape is one of my favorites. Okay, favorite things to see in our daily lives, right? I probably eat this more than I should. But what is this shape? Did we see this shape in our bag? Right? This is a what? A slice of pizza, right? This slice of pizza we see a lot of the times. Maybe not every day, but we do see this a lot because I know we all do love pizza. Right, so this shape we did see in our bag of shapes. Right, we saw it right here. And how many sides did this shape have? 3, correct? Right, we followed our finger, and we can do that here. We can follow our finger from vertice to vertice. Correct, right? So let's look at one more shape that we see in our daily lives. Right, this shape I use to get into our classroom every single day. Right, I have to walk through this shape, through this object, every single day to get into our classroom. Now, is it the window? No, right? It's not the window. So what is it that I walk through every day to get into our classroom? A door, correct? Right, I walk through a door every single day. So I can see that I had this shape in my bag of shapes. I saw it looked just like this. And I was able to follow the line and count. Let's count. How many sides does this shape have? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Correct. Right? So we see shapes everywhere. Okay? So what we're going to be doing now for our activity is I'm going to give you a magazine. Now, we've used magazines before, right? So within your magazine, I want you to open it up and you're going to find things that are shapes, objects that are shaped just like the things that you had in your bag. And what we're going to do is you're going to use your scissors to cut them out, and you're going to use your glue to paste on our poster. And our poster says shapes in our daily lives. So if we look at our poster, what are some things that we see on our poster that we see in our daily lives? Right? A picture frame is one of them. Some of us have it at our house, right, with our family picture in it. Okay? Some toys that we have. Some toys have that shape that we have in our bag. And what about this? Can anybody tell me what this is? A phone, right? This is a phone. Now, a lot of us have it. I know we're in kindergarten, but I know a lot of us do have this phone. Okay? Did we see that there's a shape in our bag that looks just like the phone? Yes, right? So we saw that. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your shapes out with your scissors. Now remember, using your scissors, they are not a toy. We do not play with our scissors. We need to make sure that the only things that we cut with our scissors is what? The magazines, correct. Now with our glue, how do we use our glue? Right, we only use a little bit. We do not put a whole glob of glue. We use just a little bit. Once you cut out your pictures, you're gonna come up to a board, and you are going to paste them on our poster that we will then hang in our classroom. So here are some examples that I have, right, that we see in our daily life. We talked about a pizza, and we could also see in our daily life watermelon, and what else? A donut, right? So you're gonna use your glue, and you're gonna come up here and you're gonna paste it on our poster board. At this time, I would give them plenty of time to be able to cut it out and find what they need. And I'd be walking around seeing what they are actually cutting out, because some of them would just cut out different toys that they like, but I would instruct them to only cut out shapes that they saw in their bags. So now that we have all of our pictures pasted on our poster board, we need to finish our KWO chart. Right, we started it, we've done the K, we've done the W, now we need to do the L. We need to write down what we have learned today. So what are some things that we learned about our shapes? Okay, yes, thank you. That's the one thing I wanted you to say for sure. We know that our shapes are flat. Okay, what else did we learn today? Okay, we learned that they have sides. Good job. We learned that they have sides. And what was the other thing that we learned today? Now, we called them points at the beginning of the lesson, but with our vocabulary that we used, what is that word that we used for points? Right, vertices. Good job. We learned about vertices. Good, so now we completed our KWO chart. So we know some more about shapes. Now tomorrow, we're going to be talking about a specific shape. Now Melody had this shape in her hand, and it was kind of confusing because all the other shapes had sides and all the other shapes had vertices, but this shape didn't. So tomorrow, we're going to be talking about a circle. We're going to learn all that we need to know about a circle, and we're going to do activities with this circle. Thank you.